Now, after that electoral rout by Democrats less than a week
Wasn't
ago,
a rout.
surprisingly,
It's all Democrat
I admit
states.
I was wrong. Trump didn't do anything weirder than usual to try to step on the tail
Democrats
of that story,
are freaking
to try
out.
to change the subject, to try to make the triumphant Democrats look weak again instead of strong. He didn't do anything different. Now, the people who really changed course, the people who intervened to change the story, to stomp on the tail of that Democratic victory and make the Democrats look weak and confused and divided and
This is so
aimless,
nice.
were, of course, the Democrats themselves.
All right, guys, the Democrats are freaking out about this shutdown, actually allowing people to go back to work, allowing people who actually worked for their money to get paid for it, allowing air traffic controllers to actually make money so they can feed their family. The Democrats are freaking out about it because if you work for the government, you were leveraged to them. Watch what all this, and they're ready to fire Chuck Schumer because of this. Watch this video.
It is a terrible vote. You're going to have a president who says, see, I always told you, the Democrats are weak. And yes, I'm an authoritarian. I want more and more power, and you can't stop me. That's what this vote was about.
How do you feel about those conflicting emotions?
Look, I think the leadership, this is no great secret. It is my view that the leadership of the Democratic Party in many respects is way out of touch with where Democrats in general are, where many independents
with the American people,
where the grassroots of America are.
I understand that not all of my Democratic colleagues are satisfied with this agreement, but waiting another week or another month wouldn't deliver a better outcome.
She fell on the sword for the Democrats.
The agreement tonight is a win.
Took the sacrifice.
There was zero chance of dealing with the ACA issue as long as the shutdown continued. Now, I don't know, 50-50, but there's a lot better chance now than there was this morning.
This was a very, very bad vote. And what the election showed is that the American people want us to stand up to Trumpism, to his war against working class people, to his authoritarianism. That is what the American people wanted, but tonight that is not what
they wanted to get paid for their work.
Let's be clear. The Republicans run the House. The Republicans run the Senate. The Republicans run the White House. The Republicans run the Supreme Court, as far as I'm concerned.
A year ago,
this was a choice by Republicans to cut SNAP benefits. This was a choice by Republicans to cut ACA subsidies. This was a choice by the Republicans to gut the federal government and federal employment. Democrats had nothing to do with it. I want an opposition party. I think.
How many of you enjoy seeing Democrats freak out? These people are crazy, unhinged lunatics.
The Democrats caved. I think the Democrats let down the American people. And like you, Whoopi, I have absolutely no faith that the Republican Party will come to the negotiating table in good faith.
Let's hope they don't.
You do something like this, shame on you the first time. You do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, shame on me. Shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom line is the Democrats went.
You have no power. You just said you have no power. Why would the Republicans cater to you in any way? They have control of everything. You spent 40 days wasting your time, and you look like an idiot at the end of it.
Into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying we do want the opposition, the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them, and now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over. If he cannot keep his caucus together, he needs to go. He needs to be replaced.
Standing up to Donald Trump didn't work.
I believe there are a number of Republicans who are going to join us in trying to address health care costs for Americans.
I expect Republicans to be at the table in the next few weeks. I expect the White House to be at the table. And if they do choose not to come to the table, they can own the disastrous premium increases that will continue to rise.
With more, honestly, very disturbing news, I'm kind of pissed off. The Senate has reached a deal that's going to end the shutdown. We're seeing it play out in real time right now. They just voted what it's called. Vast majority of Americans blame Republicans for this shutdown. And so what does Schumer do?
They don't. That's fake polls.
He says, well, let's just cave. After this huge win, let's just cave to Trump. All right.
There's no way that I believe that the vast majority of Americans believe that this shutdown was the Republicans' fault. I think that's fake polling. Because they voted 14 times to keep it open or to open it.
I don't know about you, but I am pissed off. I am pissed off at Democratic leadership. I'm pissed off at Chuck Schumer for doing the most irresponsible thing I think he could have done in this fight. We had the wind at our backs a week ago when we won in a sweeping victory.
When you won all blue states that you were supposed to win.
And so what did Chuck Schumer decide to do? Give up. I don't understand it. Chuck Schumer thinks we are in a different era. Chuck Schumer is fighting a fight that doesn't exist anymore.
Here's Angus King, granted, not a Democrat, votes with the Democrats, certainly part of this group. In fact, he and Shaheen supposedly led it. Here he is explaining, look, we can't win, so we should definitely prematurely surrender.
Just quit.
Well, Joe, you have to go back to what the strategy was at the beginning of the shutdown. There were two goals, both of which I support. One was standing up to Donald Trump. The other was getting some resolution on the ACA premium tax credit issue. The problem was the shutdown wasn't accomplishing either goals, and there was practically, well, there was zero likelihood that it was going to. In terms of standing up to Donald Trump, the shutdown actually gave him more power, Exhibit A being what he's done with SNAP.
For months and months, Democrats have been fighting to get the Senate to address the health care crisis. This bill does nothing to ensure that that crisis is addressed. I am voting no, and I will keep fighting.
Keep fighting, Chuck.
I'm ready to run through a brick wall for him.
I'll tell you something. That is very inspiring. And he really, like, how did this happen? Like, is he mad at the leadership of the Senate? How could the Senate leadership allow this to happen? He's thinking. And then that's when they had to cut. That's why it's only 15 seconds, because the next thought was like, and the leader of this, oh, wait.
I am the leader.
It would then need to be signed by President Trump, who backed the approach earlier today. At least he said he would.
It's too bad it was closed, but we'll be opening up our country very quickly.
Mr. President, that deal does reverse the mass firings your administration put through during the shutdown. Did you sign off on that, and will you abide by that if this passes?
Well, I will be. I'll abide by the deal. The deal is very good.
The deal is the deal.
Yeah, this is a fascinating situation because the White House feels like they won on the facts and the substance of this. That they
didn't give nothing.
Democrats shut down the government. They didn't get anything for it. They took the offer John Thune made them a month ago and finally accepted it. And they feel like on the substance they won.
Yeah, the timing of it obviously is rather striking, right? As you rightly said, they had until 24 hours ago felt like they were winning this thing. They had gotten the election results were overwhelming in their favor. Even Trump was blaming the shutdown on Republicans, saying that's the reason why they lost the election. He was undercutting his own Senate Republican caucus by saying they need to get rid of the filibuster, which they weren't willing to do. So instead of the story now being Republicans in disarray, it's Democrats in disarray, an old favorite, but one that seems to be appropriate at this time. And it does seem to have kind of halted the momentum that they had for 5 whole days since the off-year elections.
Like, you're never going to win a game of chicken against Donald Trump.
And then now they're like, well, we're going to have a separate vote, and the American public will get to see where Republicans stand. And by the way, it sounds like the House isn't even going to take it up.
I hear all that, Katie, but that was the best case scenario from the start. I mean, and they had no choice but to do nothing. And here's the reality. If they wanted to get the healthcare subsidy extended, they needed to win the election last November. The Republicans control all of Washington. Like, this expectation that the Republicans are going to wake up one morning and say, you know what, we're going to do the emergency Obamacare extension. We're going to make sure that the subsidies for people that are early retirees are going to continue. It's crazy to think that the Republicans were never going to do that. The longest shutdown in history. I remember back when I was a Republican. The Democrats and people like me and the establishment of the Republican Party said the Tea Party's crazy. Like these guys at the Tea Party are extremists with the way that they are pushing these shutdowns. This Democratic Senate just held a longer shutdown than the Tea Party ever did.
Running for Senate in Massachusetts in 2026. He is primarying a fellow Democrat. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here. Do you think that Chuck Schumer is in control of the Senate Democratic caucus?
No.
No, he's not. I mean, he's got 8 Democrats going rogue here. He himself voted against them. And that's not leadership. Rogue. You know, that's not leadership at a time when we desperately need.
This is all a show. They had this planned in the back room. This is who's going to defect. This is what we're going to say. Now they're stabbing Chuck Schumer in the back at this point, but they probably had that planned out too.
Leadership to stand up to Donald Trump.
Do you think that Chuck Schumer should step aside now and let someone else lead Democrats in the Senate?
Yes.
I think it would be better. I think it'd be better than the status quo. And I hear this from Democrats all across Massachusetts. Everywhere I go, people say there's a leadership vacuum right now in the Democratic Party. He is, of course, he's positive because Democrats just gave in. We just gave in to Donald Trump. We just gave in to a guy who's trying to let American families starve, who doesn't care if there are American kids waiting in bread lines. We're the only ones standing between the American people and Donald Trump's vicious, hateful agenda. We've got to stand tall. We've got to beat Donald Trump, not give in to him.
You're the one hurting American people. How many of you people know, put in the comments, how many of you people know people that weren't getting paid because of this shutdown? I do. Personally, I know people that work for prisons that were not getting money because of this shutdown. The American people were being hurt because the Democrats want to hurt Donald Trump.
Can you give us a sense of how your colleagues in the House Democratic Caucus are feeling right now?
Sad.
Very frustrated with Schumer and the Republicans, and the reality is that
Did Schumer talk to Jeffries about this at all?
I don't know, but I do know that what I heard from most of my colleagues is that we in the House want to stand strong and stand together and support Americans' right to afford health care, which should be a human right.
Well, they allowed y'all to do that.
And so we're kind of flabbergasted at what's going on in the Senate right now.
All right, it is Monday, November 10th. I'm here with Sunny Hoskin, and she is fired up.
I am. The Democrats are feckless. It is such a loser move, in my opinion.
Because you're losers.
Hakeem Jeffries could keep his caucus together, everyone in line, nobody capitulating, nobody moving, and Chuck Schumer lost
because they
8.
had the votes.
He didn't even vote with the 8. That says so much. You are the minority leader of the Senate, and you could not keep your caucus in line. It means it's time for him to go.
Yeah, that's certainly what you're hearing from some members of the base, that those 7 Democrats in the Senate and the 1 independent who caucuses with the Democrats did this deal on it at the precise moment where Democrats felt as if they were winning the politics of this fight. That Democrats, many believed, had the moral and strategic advantage, and that more Americans were starting to feel the pain of this shutdown, and that they were blaming Donald Trump for the flight cancellations and delays, for the 1 in 8 Americans who rely on SNAP, who literally did not have money to put food on the table, and here comes Thanksgiving, for the federal workers who are getting $0 paychecks. But as Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia put it to me yesterday, he's one of those 7 Democrats who voted in favor of this deal. From where he sat, he didn't see that Democrats were going to have a better advantage or a better strategic position or more leverage a week from now, a month from now, and that Donald Trump was all too happy to let people starve effectively and to let federal workers to continue to collect $0 paychecks and stay on furlough because he'd already fired thousands of them. So from where he sat, it behooved him as a senator who represents millions of federal workers in Virginia to do this deal and to reopen government and to have an agreement to deal with ACA subsidies later next month.
Well, we're trying to put in a bill, as you know, the bill or a bill, that you can never do that again. You can't just shut down the government because you're trying to renegotiate a deal.
What message do you have for Schumer?
I mean, think about this, guys. You go to work and you don't get paid for it. That's not fair. I mean, I don't care who you are, Republican, Democrat. If you go to work, you should get paid. Now, if they want to do some kind of layoff where people don't go to work and they can go do something else, that's different. But if you're expected to come to work and then not get paid for 40 days, that's a long time for some people. Actually, it's a long time for a lot of people.
Tonight.
Well, I think he made a mistake in going too far. Going
too far, how?
Well, he just went too far. He thought he could break the Republicans, and the Republicans broke him.
Today's show is a rough one. Democrats are caving on the shutdown, and some of them are actually out there admitting standing up to Trump didn't work. This is the fight, and they're saying it out loud. That's not happening. So what did they hold out for? Reportedly, there will be a vote in the middle of December on extending the Obamacare subsidies. There will be a vote that in all likelihood is not going to work. What are different senators saying about this? Well, here is Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer saying that this fight will continue and Democrats must fight. But wasn't this the fight? You know, this whole language about fighting. The shutdown was the fight. In other words,
you gave up.
The reason I thought that Democrats said they are going to do this is that they wanted to fight for the Obamacare subsidies. And they are giving up that fight. Now, I know you might say, well, but they're going to get a vote on the subsidies in mid-December.
Yeah,
come on, guys. Do you really, if my audience wants me to come here and say, Democrats got a victory because instead of nothing, there is now going to be a vote. And although the vote will likely fail, it's at least something rather than nothing. Well, as I said from the beginning, the shutdown hurts people. And so was a political point made? I mean,
last night, 8 Democratic senators, some of them for the second time in 6 months, betrayed their party and the American people. Oh, well, then, if Republicans and Donald say it's going to happen, of course we should take them at their word. I have to be honest with you. I find it very difficult to believe that those 8 people are that stupid and that gullible. I didn't need to capitulate to these monsters in order to get those data. Before we go on, we cannot give in to the Trump regime's bullying. We cannot capitulate. We cannot make common cause with fascists.
You did. Thank you.